So guys, it's Fly on the Wall and Other Stories. Today I have Miss Shubha with us, and she's the author of the book, and this is definitely her maiden venture. So yeah, you should keep your fingers crossed for that. Hello ma'am, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very fine ma'am. So how did Fly on the Wall and Other Stories came about?
I've been writing for many years, and these stories have been written over a period of 4 years, from 2009 to 2012. And with Mr. Mittal's help, who is my publisher of LiFi publications, we just put everything together and decided to bring out a collection of short stories.
Okay. So why short stories? I mean, why didn't you take up a novel, full-fledged novel like everyone else is doing?
I have a very different point of view on this. I believe that a novel can be a very demanding piece of literature.
Okay.
At some point of time, you might not enjoy what you're reading, and then you have this big dilemma before you whether you should read it for the sake of finishing the novel or whether you should just dump it. A short story is much easier on you. It makes no demands. It gives you lots of time and space. You can read 2-3 stories, leave the book, pick it up again after a week, and you have lost no threads. You have nothing to connect to. And most importantly, I think a novel has only one basic idea or theme which it tries to build upon. But writing a short story is so much more difficult because in my collection I have 13 short stories, and that means I have 13 different central ideas. And I have to say what I want to say in 3 or 4 pages. I don't have the luxury of writing 500 pages. So I've got to make it compelling for the reader to read, and I find that much more challenging than writing a full-fledged novel.
Definitely, dwelling in so many characters is much more a serious task.
Yes, in fact, in my 13 short stories, I think there are about maybe 30 characters, and each one of them I have to build up enough, and yet not spend so much time and words on building the character up.
Ma'am, you are an IAS officer. So, being an IAS officer, wife, and a mother, and now an author, how do you juggle with so many roles and?
Yeah, it's not easy, but I do believe that the busiest people can always find time for something. I have an extremely supportive family who, my kids are small, they're 6 and 10, so after they go off to sleep, I generally sit and write in the night.
Okay.
And I did a lot of traveling when I was working in the Department of Commerce.
Okay.
I used to travel to Latin America,
Okay.
and these would be long journeys of 28 hours, 30 hours. So while waiting at airports, while on the plane, I used to write.
Okay.
I used that time because I wanted to write, and I wanted to find time to write.
Okay.
So I somehow did that, and I'm so glad that I've been able to put all my creative energies together in the little time that I had.
And how was it all working with the LiFi Publications Private Limited?
It's been great. I think Mr. Mittal is one of the best in the field. You can make out yourself when you see the book, the cover design, the printing, the proofreading. He has put in all his efforts. There's nothing more I could have asked for. And I'm really, really happy that I came across LiFi, and I think they will be partners for a lifetime rather than for one book.
Okay. And Fly on the Wall, you chose this title. What's the reason behind it?
You know, I also aspired at one point of time to write a novel before I decided that I didn't have too much time and I didn't want to get into the genre of novel writing. So at that time I had built a small manuscript which was to serve as the base for a bigger book, and I titled it Fly on the Wall.
Okay.
So when I started thinking of names for this collection, I thought it suited it perfectly because a writer is basically a fly on the wall, somebody who observes others, who projects what's happening around him in society without intruding, without being biased, without passing judgment. And I think through my stories, I've tried to bring that about.
Any message for the readers?
Go read it, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay. So thank you, ma'am. This is Fly on the Wall and Other Stories. Do go out and buy a copy of it. It's available on all the major portals, Infibeam, Flipkart, anywhere. So do try that out. All right. Thank you.